First gear, nice and
All right.
easy. First gear.
Let's
We
get
take it down to second gear. Lift it
take it
up.
down a peg.
Work it
What
up.
up, everybody? Good morning, good morning, good morning. Welcome to another edition of the Brothers of Legacy. I'm your host, A.D. Walker, the pusher, the grower, the motivator. So we appreciate you guys for being here this fine what's today? Wednesday morning? It's Mental Health Wednesday. All right. So we have a guest therapist coming through. Maybe be a permanent staple here at the Brothers of Legacy, but we'll see how we like him and see how he like us. Like you're like,
Right.
I don't really like what's going on here. Hold on. Let me get my other brother, Kaneem Curvey, aka K Solo. K Solo, not to be confused with the
So,
Cup Solo, but K
no.
Solo.
Uh-oh.
To the
What
cops in
up,
Suffolk
Joe?
County, he's known as a fugitive. You don't know that song. You don't know that. All right. So appreciate you guys being here. I'm gonna get my man, Mr. Johnny Gathers, in the building. He is a licensed therapist. I try to bring on real professionals, not just ones that play on the internet. So we're gonna throw this intro on. We're gonna get my brother in. We're gonna talk about some things on our mind. Some things on our mind. Any got a news story or two that we may mention. But just bear with us. Bear with me. Bear with me. All right. So we'll be right back right after this once I can find it. Bam.
You're watching the Brothers of Legacy. We don't stand out. We stand up.
Morning, Mr. Johnny. Thank you for coming through. Good morning.
Thank you for having me.
Yes,
Good
indeed.
morning.
So if you're just joining us, we have Mr. Johnny. Say your last name one more time. I know you just said it once.
Gathers.
Gathers. I'm saying it right. Okay, Gathers.
Yeah, you
Okay.
said it right.
And we have Kadeem Curvey, aka K Solo, and Larry in the building. Appreciate you, Larry. J Banks in the building, not to be confused with Larry A Banks. I don't know. I just made that up.
I don't know who that is. I don't know who that is.
I just made that up.
That was hilarious. Fool.
I gotta meet this A Banks.
I got a question, right? On your computer, are you a multiple windows kind of person, tabs, or are you like, I can only have like one or two tabs open. I gotta close everything out. Random.
More,
It's a random
Multiple
question.
one.
the more the merrier. The more the merrier.
The water. You're
Yeah.
multiple tab person.
I'm a multiple tabs person. I'm so used to having multiple tabs open, especially when I'm seeing clients. I'm like,
Okay.
all right, I gotta have this thing open, pull up something pops up, I have it,
Yeah,
gotta
just
be
leave it.
prepared.
I gotta leave it up there.
Yeah, and then on the side, outside of like my professional work, I am a member of Iota Phi Theta Fraternity Incorporated, so I hold a lot of leadership positions, and I gotta open up tabs for all those things because I gotta document different stuff.
Okay.
And just a little pun to put out there:
Uh-oh.
today is my 14th anniversary of being a member of the fraternity.
Okay.
Well, congratulations, bro.
Congratulations.
Yep, it's been 4 years. Larry's been 14
14
years.
years. Oh
14
God.
years. I'm getting up there.
So how long for you, Larry? So we're gonna 14 for him. How long for you, buddy? How long? We sharing is caring. How long for you, buddy?
27.
Okay. Oh, you like a grown adult anniversary. Your anniversary can drink and all.
but who's counting? But
It's counting.
Kadeem,
What are you? Kadeem, are you a multiple tabs person?
Oh yes, sir. Yes, sir. I don't think you're using your technology correctly if you ain't got everything open at one time. You know what I'm saying?
That's what I'm talking about.
What was that phrase, Mr. Kirby? You're not
Well,
using your technology.
your
What?
technology correctly. If you don't have I got my phone up, I got my laptop up, everything. I got my earbuds in. If I had another, I might have a TV. Everything is on when I'm.
Not the TV. Got the TV on. Everything running. Everything.
I told AD I got the swordfish connection going on. You guys are on a laptop right here. My desktop got the monitor here, monitor here, monitor here. You just see me like you see. Hey, multitask.
Putting that work in.
Right. All right. So today I'm going to kind of get right into our topic because I can't be on long. Neither can Mr. Johnny. He has a client right after heading right into the 10 o'clock, so I know he needs some prep, get his windows open time. So
They already open.
they're already ready.
They already ready. I'm ready.
Oh wait, hold on. Rod says 4 to 5 tabs at the max. Once the tabs start getting smaller, stop. Oh, when they start condensing, I do sometimes. Once it shifts, I do get rid of one. I was like, you know what? I'm gonna get rid of one. Okay, I didn't really need that Google search open any longer. So
I ain't gonna lie, bro. I got little bitty tabs on mine. I got about 20 tabs open. Yeah, I got a little bit. Even when I shut my laptop closed, I said restore. Hey, let's restore that. I need all the
tabs. I resisted. I'm like, no, I don't really need them tabs.
So I used to do that, Kadeem, too. I said, restore all of it. Give me everything now.
Like,
once it shuts down,
it's just like, did I have that many tabs
open? Yeah, all right, we start fresh.
Yeah, I do. I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna start fresh. Whatever I need to get to, let's start over. So I know just a little fresher, just to get us started, just kind of break the ice a little bit. Well, we're gonna get a little heavy this morning. We're gonna get a little heavy. So,
oh Lord.
Get on the couch.
Get on the couch. It's couch time.
Let me go ahead and clear my eyes now. Oh, okay.
Somebody cut onions over here.
So
it ain't no topic yet, and I'm already tearing.
We're talking about dealing with reality. I had an opportunity because Johnny does have a YouTube channel. We're going to talk about all that, the social at the end. But one of his videos that really caught my attention, talking about dealing with reality, the reality of laws, the reality of certain decisions, and processing. Because he really I'm gonna just put a link up for that video because he talked about just going through the process, and how to, when something happens, how to deal with it in the best, most healthy manner and enable yourself to move, forward. So I'm not gonna talk long.
Really?
And I'm gonna hand this off to Mr. Johnny. He's gonna be the one to get y'all started. When things happen.
Before you get started, did you specifically ask AD to call you Mr. Johnny?
No.
Okay. I'm just because he acting like you about 80 years old. That's why I was like, he's the same age as us. Why?
I know. I don't know. It's a respect thing. I want to call him maybe Dr. Johnny, but I don't know if he's got that doctorate yet. So
I'm gonna be more respectful than he is. Johnny, do your thing, brother. Go ahead. Flow is yours, man.
First off, I just want to thank y'all for having me on this platform, this morning, just to talk about, the aspects of reality. When you look up the word reality in the dictionary, it says that reality is defined as a state of things that actually exist. Right. So when you hear that word reality, we got to realize that reality is based on our existence. And when you dig into deeper detail of our existence, it's basically what we experience, it's what we go through, it's our thoughts, it's our feelings, it's our emotions. And the example I want to bring up when it comes to the aspect of reality is loss. 2 months ago, August 18, 2023, was when I lost my father unexpectedly. That moment, never knew that was going to happen. I knew that he was, going through some things and stuff. And once I had found out that he had to get, a procedure done and everything, I told him, I said, well, Dad, if stuff goes left, I'm going to Alabama. He's like, nah, you ain't got to go to Alabama. You ain't got to go to. I said, no, listen here. If stuff goes left, I'm going to Alabama. So once he got through the procedure that he had to go through, that's when everything just started shifting for him. In that moment, that's what, once I found, keep getting phone calls, getting, different things, different messages. I was like, you know what? It's time for me to go to Alabama. So I shut down everything. I took a half day of work. I told my job knew what was going on, the situation, everything like that. I told everybody here in Pittsburgh within the fraternity, I said, I got to go. I got to be by my side, be by my dad's side. So got there, got to Alabama. He was surprised to see me. I was like, I told you if stuff was going left and coming. So from that moment of me spending time with him, the next day it shifted to I woke up early that Friday morning, finding him, throwing up all over the floor, throwing up blood, basically throwing up blood. And I had to help get my dad, help, go get the nurse. I'm like, all right, my dad is throwing up. And the way that he was throwing up was it looked like he was trying to get out the bed because he was moving around and everything the day before when I got there. But he, it was like he was leaning back, sideways in the bed, and he was just throwing up this way. So when that happened, I, went, grabbed the nurse. The nurse told me right from there that your dad is unresponsive. So from there, my aunt and I, because we stayed the night in the room and everything. When that happened, my aunt just started breaking down. I ended up starting praying. I just started praying right then and there. Once I got done praying, that's when they called a pulse. They say, yeah, they called a pulse, but he was still, out. He was still out of it. And from there, that's when everything just started declining. His kidneys was failing, everything else was failing. And then what I learned from that moment was that my dad had cirrhosis. I never knew that he had cirrhosis. Okay. Yeah. So for people out there that don't know what cirrhosis is a liver disease and everything. And the main, attributes of having cirrhosis is alcohol. My dad was a heavy Budweiser drinker and everything. That's what he always drank all the time. He wouldn't go to the hot, liquor or anything like that. That was his main thing. But I know that his drinking kind of increased more when my grandma passed, which is his mom, and that was 4 years ago in September and everything. So, understanding that my dad didn't really have that aspect of knowing how to cope. The main thing he knew how to cope was just, to drink and stuff.
Right.
But from that moment of going through, the different aspects of seeing his, organs failing and everything like that, when I got the notice to say, all right, you got to make a decision. And I'm like, what you talking about? You got to make a decision to either pull the plug or to just let the machines run, to just let your dad go in peace. So in that moment right there, I lost it because I was like, I don't know what to do. And at the time, all the family was with me at the time. And, that lived in Alabama. So I decided to, let the machines run and just let him go in peace. And then that Friday evening, he went in peace. During that time, I stayed in the hospital till 10:30 at night. The body still was there. I just started talking with him and everything like that. And then, I ended up staying in Alabama for a week and a half because I had to prepare for the funeral. I was his only child and everything.
Okay.
I have siblings on my mom's side, only child. So I had to, get stuff together with the help of my aunts and my uncles and everything. But from that time going into now, because it's been 2 months already, that's when that actual reality hit me that you know, there were, you know, I had some thoughts and some feelings that, you know, changed. And I've been telling people that I actually, you know, back in therapy myself as well.
Okay.
And I say, you know, ever since coming back from Alabama, I'm like, my viewpoint of life is different now.
Right.
There's be some moments where I don't want to do nothing. Work wise, there might be some moments I don't want to do anything iota wise and stuff
Right.
like that because you
Come
don't
on.
like your mind and your emotions changes after dealing with losing you know, a parent at a young
Right.
age. I'm 33. So
Right.
and plus you losing a parent unexpectedly because I've been used to, you know, different losses within other family members and things like that. But when it comes to like your own parent that
Right.
you wasn't expecting to go
Right.
like that,
Right.
that's what
Yeah.
you know, that's what gets you and everything. And
Yeah.
then also like whenever when you're going through the aspect of reality too, when it comes to loss as well, is that your motivation for certain things changes. So like when I came back, you know, to Pittsburgh, I'm like my motivation was gone. Like I was feeling like, all right, I'm missing my spark that I used to have
Right.
for doing different things that I love to do. Like I love my job. I love being a therapist. I
Right.
love talking to my clients. I love the work that I do in the fraternity and all those different things. I love the stuff I do in the community. But in that moment, I didn't want to, you know, my motivation was gone and
Right.
everything.
Right.
So I had a conversation with my mom, had a conversation with my therapist, and they said, well, right now you still in shock mode and everything because you know you witnessed your dad go in front of your eyes and
Right.
everything. Then you had to plan a funeral. Basically, I was you know, didn't really have the time to like grieve fully.
Breathe.
I just
Right.
had to just keep going, 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 going,
Figure it
going,
out.
going.
Right. Right.
Yeah, and then after that, even though I had like a week and a couple of days off, had to come back to work, had
Right.
to go back and do stuff for the fraternity here and there, like bits and pieces here and there. Because I told everybody, I was like, I'm not jumping into everything right then and there.
Right.
Give
Right.
me some time. Just give me some time.
I do the basics. I'll maintain it. That's right.
Yeah, just give
Right.
me a time so I can see how I feel and
Right.
everything. And
But
you know,
so how would you like so you and we've all been in similar spaces going through it, right? But you know, you had to carry I didn't have to carry this burden. My mom passed, you know, I had my brother, so we kind of had each other, you know, to kind of lean off it, you know, each other. And you know, when my father passed, my mother was alive, so it was like she wasn't alone, we weren't alone, you know, like we kind of could talk it out in essence, or as little as we you know we could. And dealing with the loss, having to do the planning and make sure everything came together, everybody stay at peace and nothing crazy happened. Um, how did you get back? Like, how did you get your motivation back? And I know we're getting there, but I'm just kind of taking a pause, give you a breather. But how did you begin to get your motivation back? Because I get it, because like you know, loss on all levels, like even just relational loss. You know, your spouse leaves or your girlfriend break up. You know, like
yeah,
you begin to re-examine like what am I really doing? You know, like what because a lot of times like you know as Kaneem and Larry, you know, you're like family men. Everything, your plans include your kids and your spouse. You know, they're part of the makeup of the things that you do. But when, like, if your spouse leaves, it's like, why am I doing this? You know, like, you know, everything shifts. Like, okay, should I be going after this, or how should I be? You know, how did you get back into focus as far as when you lost your dad? Like, okay, you know, finding the meaning, I guess, of the work that you do instead of kind of staying stuck, you know, at that
yeah,
point.
Let me pick it back off that before you
Yeah.
speak, Johnny. Let me ask you a
yeah.
question, John. Because what I heard from AD is that you are back. My question is, are you back to a normal?
Right. That's good.
That's a good question. So I can say for me, I won't say that I'm back into a normal, but I'm saying I'm in the process of getting
Okay.
there. Cause, and I could be honest with y'all, a couple weeks ago, like out the blue, I broke down. I broke down crying.
Okay.
Something hit me out the blue, and I just broke down.
Right.
And everything. And it happened. Surprisingly, it happened while I was hanging out with my fraternity brothers, and stuff during Pitt's homecoming. On my way home, that's when it hit. That's when it hit me, and I had to I sat in the car for like 15 minutes, just breaking down, crying, and everything, because I was like, all right, this is that time it's going to happen, because I haven't really cried fully like that at all, because like I said, I cried at the hospital when I found, I had to make, to make the decision. I cried the week, like a couple of days, the week prior to the funeral, because it was just a buildup of emotions, because everybody was getting on my damn nerves when it comes to the planning. Like, damn, let me do what I want, let me do what I want to do, and everything. Right. At the end, the funeral turned out nice, and everybody gave me compliments. I'm like, well, see, let me
back up
and stuff. But I didn't cry at the funeral. Like, I tried to tear up, but I couldn't, because I was making sure that everything else was, going well and everything. I didn't cry at the burial, at the the viewing of the body. I didn't even cry at that. I just sat there and talked with him for 2 hours. But I can say right now, I'm building my way back to it. But as you can see, that life is not normal, because everything could change, at any given time and everything. So I'm gonna give you a prime, example of how life is not normal. What we just experienced for the last few years, the pandemic. We realized that life is not normal now post-pandemic, because you still got people that's still cautious about their health, their well-being, things like that. And it's the same thing when it comes to the aspect of loss, that you could feel like your life is normal, but your life is not really normal, because that your main person that that was like a piece of you and that was a part of your life is gone, especially if you have a close relationship with that particular person. So like, I had a close relationship with my dad, even when, and that's the thing, like at home, I have like pictures of me and him when I was like a little kid, because me and him was at the hip all the time. I got some of his hats that's in my room. I made like a hat wall, like some of his stuff. I got some of his outfits that I could wear, and everything like that. So, once you look at those particular pieces of things, you never know if it's going to make you feel good or you're just going to break at that moment. And once you notice those things, you'll realize, like, yeah, my life is not how it is, but I can still, try to push forward to, get back to that momentum.
Wow.
I feel you on that, man. Because I know, like, my mom, she passed away in 2013, and my dad passed away in 2019.
Okay.
And I feel myself thinking back, like, I wish I could talk to my mama now.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Or I wish that she would call me and leave me a voicemail like she used to do, even when I didn't answer the phone and stuff like that. Even though we didn't have a super tight relationship, that was the woman that raised me, that nurtured me, that made me to be the man that I am. I wouldn't be what I am or who I am without her guidance as a young person. And so I found myself doing that. So that's why I asked you, are you back to your normal? You know what I'm saying? Because I'm 10 years in. And I can't say that I just have to deal with it, that this is my new normal.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I will always reminisce about her, because I can't have that conversation no more. You feel what I'm saying?
Right.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I think, it's a good point, Kadeem, because like you always think, because they're your parents, and I wasn't really super tight. Like my mom, we would talk periodically. She would call. My dad passed in 2001, and I was just hitting the point of realizing, he might be right about some stuff in life. Like he might have been telling me some good stuff, So I've thought about him frequently when you're going through something like, man, I wish I could call that dude, just to get some unfiltered advice that I know, he would give me without him having to get anything from it. You know what I'm saying? Like I know the one dude I can call that doesn't want anything, that will give me straight advice, So I don't think you always think about them because they were like, they're your rock, they're your wisdom, no matter what kind of role they played, you always think about, man, I wonder, because if he would have met my children and things of that nature. So I think it's like you said, Kaneem and Johnny, it's a new normal. It's a new normal. It's a shift, just to see a different perspective. But I think it gives you a different perspective on life and relationships as well. Right. So you moving forward, like how do you? So in that space, right? And like you said, you're still kind of learning it fresh. At the same time, you're in this therapy space, so I'm sure you've helped others, get through their space while you're dealing with your own space. Mm-hmm. Are there things that you learned from the outside in? And what I mean, like, say I was on your couch going through it, and you ever telling somebody something, and you hear it yourself, like, ooh, that's a good nugget. Like I don't know how I said it and not think it, but it comes out, and you like, so what are some of the biggest things or takeaways that you've received, in this journey of your own loss and then either getting other people through their loss?
Yeah, so mainly when I'm dealing with, the aspect of loss with clients, and like I said, loss could be anything. It could be a death of a family member. It could be a loss of a job. It could be a loss of a relationship. I go through the different stages of grief and loss. So the stages of grief and loss are denial, anger, bargaining, depression, and acceptance. And with each session, I'll break down each stage to give a general understanding of what that stage is and provide like a coping exercise. So like, for example, with denial is that moment where you're like, I can't believe this is happening. I don't want to actually believe it, which is that aspect of reality where you're like, you don't really believe that this is going on. A coping skill that I would give for that person is just a grounding exercise called the 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 technique, where it's basically you using your 5 senses. So I'll tell that client to think of a place that brings you peace, brings you joy, brings you happiness, and use your 5 senses and, counting down from 5 to 1. So 5 things that you see, 4 things that you can feel, 3 things that you can hear, 2 things that you can smell, 1 thing that you can taste.
Okay. So one more time. Say that one more time. 5 things.
Yeah. Yep. 5 things that you can. You taking notes? 5 things that you can see. 4 things that you can touch.
Okay.
3 things that you can hear.
Okay.
2 things that you can smell.
Mm-hmm.
And then 1 thing that you can taste.
Wow.
And with you practicing this exercise, it helps you to just center yourself back into a current space. Because when you think about, loss and everything, we always think about the past and you always think about the future. But mainly what you got to do is you got to get yourself in the present moment. And that's what the aspect of reality is, to bring you back into the present self. And I actually learned about that with me going through the aspect of my dad. Like I thought about, the last, the good moment I had with him, the last good moment, I had with him, which was, when I went to Alabama for my birthday, and that was in 2021 and everything. Cause I made a promise ever since my grandmom had passed that I was going to go down there more frequently to check on him, make sure he's good and everything like that. And I thought about that moment. So I used that technique to thought about the things that we did on my birthday. And and then also on Christmas too, because my birthday is the day before Christmas. So talk about that, typical aspects and everything like that. And once, I thought about that and went through those techniques, it kind of, made me feel good because it brought happiness to me, happiness to everything.
Wow.
With anger, which is the other stage of grief and loss, with anger is mainly, understanding that, yeah, you're going to be upset and mad about what happened. So, there's coping skills that you can do for your anger to help with managing that. With bargaining is that moment where you have that shoulda, coulda, woulda moments. Like, I wish I could have did this. I wish I could have did that. Right. And the question, the thing when I was explaining to y'all that moment where I lost, motivation for myself, and then but just having thoughts about not feeling, certain things. My mom the first question my mom asked me was like, "Do you have any regrets?" And I was like, what you mean by that? If you have any regrets? And she was like, well, do you have regrets about, your dad being gone and, you not being there for him as much? Because I'm up here up north and my dad was down south. So I was like, no, I don't have, no regrets. And it's not like we was on, bad terms, nothing like that. I talk with him, call him every time something happens, if I'm getting honored with something or anything like that, or if I'm in a magazine article, I always send him stuff. I always send pictures and all that. And that's the thing, when I was down there playing at his funeral, they was like, your dad always brag about you. And I say, I know. He'll tell me, I shared everything with you and everything. And that's the thing with him. He always would say, oh, my son's a doctor. I said, Dad, I'm a therapist, not a doctor.
My son's a doctor. He close enough.
I was like, I'm not a doctor. If you want to think so, I'm like, all right. If you thinking I'm a doctor, just say, all right, a doctor of the mind. Well,
right there you go.
There you go. But Johnny, with this
always bring up.
Johnny, with this bargaining thing, I never considered it or viewed it as bargaining, right? The shoulda, coulda, woulda thing, like what are ways we get past that? Because like for one aspect, I always tell my kids, I raise them like, hey, whenever you make any decisions you make in life, don't have no regrets, right? And I will always start giving the story when my grandma passed, and when she was she had Alzheimer's, right? And so she was pretty much gone, right, mentally, right? She was just there, shell. And I was graduating from high school, and I was waiting. My boy Leonard, he was late to meet up with me so we can go to our graduation. And I was real a stickler with time. And my mom goes, hey, go stop by your grandma's house so she could see you in your cap and gown. And I was like, I was like, I don't got time for that. Plus, she's not even going to recognize me. Why are you going to have me go over there, right? And fast forward, she passed like the next month, and I realized that my mom wasn't about my grandmother seeing me. It was about me seeing her looking at me in my cap and gown, and maybe having some sense of pride, being happy for me. But that was the one thing. Like, all right, I had made the decision not to go, so I owned that decision. From then on, I always tell my kids, like, hey, live life without regrets. But when it comes to loss, you like that's kind of that first thing you're like that this bargaining thing. This is gonna ring so true in my head. Wow, like, why didn't I live that life with them a little bit differently? Like, why I could have done this. Yeah. My mother-in-law, she taught me how to share my kitchen.
Okay.
But I didn't start sharing it until after she passed. And I was like, I wish when she was trying to teach me how to share it, and I shared it more with her. Like we produced so many good meals together, right? In the same kitchen, but most of the time not at the same time. Because I needed my space. I want to make sure she had her space. I'm out. That's exactly what it was. It was tag, you're it. All right. It's 2:00. It's my time. I need this much window. So but how do we deal with it, or better yet, how do we get away from it? Because I don't think it's going anywhere.
Yeah. So with bargaining, there's different ways that you can do it, and I actually learned this in therapy myself. One way that you can do it is just like writing a letter to that particular loved one that you lost, just to be able to put your feelings out there. Another thing is just talking, just having that open conversation, because we all know that, physically, presence is gone, but we know spirit can be, around. So the thing is, you have to, just sit and have that conversation with that particular loved one that you lost. I did randomly, like one day I was getting ready to go for like a walk with some of my friends and everything. And right there, and I say, you know what? I'm going to talk to my dad. And I sat at the edge of the bed and just talk with him and everything. And just talked about how I was feeling and what I was going through. And I felt good right after that. I felt good and everything. Even when, when it's time, like go to different, go to the grave sites and stuff for like birthdays and, death anniversaries and things like that, just go there and talk. I know for me, when I'm actually going to Alabama for my birthday and Christmas, because I got to go follow up and make sure everything is straight with him, make sure the headstone's on and all that stuff like that. But now when I go down there, I got to talk to 4 people. 4 people. Wow. My dad, my grandma's right next to my dad. My great grandma is next to my grandma, and then my cousin right in front. So I'm gonna talk to all of them, and that's the thing I did before my dad's funeral. I went to my grandma, my great grandma, and my cousin's grave, each one of them, and just had a conversation with them. My mom was on the phone. I had my mom on speakerphone. She started like tearing up a little bit because I was coming from the heart with everything that I was saying for each one of them. And then when I told them, I said, "Y'all got a gift that's coming," which was, my dad. And now when I go down there more, I'm gonna have to talk to each one of them, and that will be my way of dealing with, the bargaining, the shoulda, coulda, woulda. I got you. So just having that conversation with them. The other aspect of
just know I want to be calling you.
You say you'll be calling me.
After I write this letter, I want to need a conversation because just thinking about I think onions are starting to be cut right now. Who's cutting onions? Who's cutting onions? All right, go ahead. I'm sorry, man.
But with depression, which I said that was the next stage after bargaining. So depression, we already know that's a moment where we are just out of it. We're sad. We don't want to do anything. We don't want to talk about anything. We just stuck. We just stuck in that moment. And a coping exercise I'll give to a client when it comes to depression is just to do an activity called 3 Good Things. And 3 Good Things is where you actually sit there and identify what 3 good things happened to you today. And once you identify those 3 good things that that happened to you today, that can help you to get your mind off of being, in that sunken place to say, okay, despite of me feeling sad, actually 3 good things did happen for me today. So I should I should appreciate that moment. I should appreciate that, that feeling. I know for me, when it came to thinking about 3 good things, I could say, all right, I'm up. I'm still, moving around. 2, I'm still, maintaining. And then 3 can be that I'm still pushing out my videos and stuff, still, holding on to it and still, educating people while I'm still processing everything like that. And I know one of my videos I had dedicated to those videos to my dad, because I shared everything of what happened. And then I also shared about, what he had, which was, what I said about the cirrhosis. So those 2 videos, I have received like a lot of comments and stuff on YouTube and on social media, because of realizing that we all go through this and everything.
That's good.
And stuff.
That's good. So is that it's denial, anger,
bargaining,
depression.
And then the last one is acceptance. So this ties into the aspect of reality. With reality, the main thing is that we have to practice acceptance. And one statement which I learned this as well, is the statement of saying, I could accept the things the way they are. So being able to say to yourself that, all right, despite of me losing a loved one, once I go through these stages, I could accept the way things are. Yeah, my dad is gone physically, but his spirit lives on eternally. I know right now he's still looking down on me. He's probably up in heaven bragging about me and what I'm doing and all this stuff like that. He's always going to be around. He's always going to be around. The only thing is, the only difference is that all three of them, because that's how it used to be too when I was growing up. My dad, my grandma, and my great grandma was together. So I know with them being together, they're probably up there just talking, and probably eating too, because they was like that and stuff. So, and like I said, my cousin was a good baker. She liked to bake cakes and stuff. So every time I used to go down there, and, check, talk to her, she always like, you got a piece of cake? You want a piece of cake? I said, yeah, I want a piece of cake. So I already know they up there having a good, good old time. And I know when it's my time to go, I'll be right back, be up there with them. And it's going to be like, things they never happen and stuff. But what I want to share to people out there is that with these stages don't really go in order, because there might be some moments where you might just go right into anger first and then go into denial. There might be some moments where you'll be depressed first and then you go into acceptance. It's no particular
order to it.
Go, because based on reality, like I said, with reality, we see things based on our thoughts, our feelings, and our experiences. So everybody experiences things differently, everybody feels things differently, and everybody thinks things differently when it comes to that aspect of losing a loved one or losing something that was meaningful in their lives.
Right. Let me read a few of these comments, and then we're gonna wrap it up. I'm gonna have to have Johnny back because we got to dig a little deeper, because he left for something that you want, guys. He left for something that you want. Rod said it takes a while to actually accept or realize a loved one has transitioned. I think it really happens after the funeral. Yeah, 100%. It's for me. I'll say going was really like a reality check. Let's see. He also said you also have inside you. He gave you something: looks, personality, habits. Yeah. Jeff. It says Deborah says, I know the feeling. And forgive me, I'm reading slow because it's taking a while to click it. I know the feeling. One of our friends was a licensed counselor. I've often thought of how I could talk to her about it. Just do it. Just do it, right? When you just say, just do it. They're ready. They ready. Like, okay. It's interesting. He said, I cried many times. Jeff says, it's interesting. I cried many times, even years before my dad actually passed. I think that was God's way of preparing me because he was actually my biggest fan and friend. Wow.
And I will talk about that based on that comment, because when I was getting like the news that everything was going left and stuff, it made me reminisce about my grandma, because my grandma was going through like the same aspect, because with her, she died of throat cancer. So when I had and like I said, this was in 2019, so I was just coming back from Charlotte for our fraternity's conclave. My dad called me, said, yeah, your grandma cancer came back and everything is, going, left. So I ended up, after coming back from Charlotte, I had to go to Alabama to make sure she's good and everything. And I, talked with her, hung out with her and stuff. She was glad to see me. And then right into September, that's when everything just started, going left for her. And when, going through the same situation with my dad, it brought back those memories of when my grandma, when my grandma was getting ready, to pass and getting ready for her, her funeral and everything like that. And I told like my mom and, my therapist about it, that it kind of gave like that experience gave me like a reminder that it just gave me that memory. It gave me that, that feeling like, yeah, it's not, not looking too good, but I didn't want to think about that. So I kind of distracted myself by, listening to music, talking to friends, and stuff like that. And then also, I was hitting up my cousins and stuff to say, all right, I'll be down there, for a few days. Let's go link up and hang out and everything. But not knowing that those couple of days ended up turning into a week and a half, because he left right there. Wow. And I think with him, and which I had learned too, was, in that moment, I think that he was, I think in that moment, he probably knew that he was, going to go. Because for what I heard from some of my family members was that weekend before his procedure, he was like crying and, breaking down and stuff like that and everything. Wow. And then everybody would say, no, you'll be fine. You'll be all right. And then with him seeing me at the hospital, and then, me and him talking and just, enjoying the company, he probably knew from there that it was going to be his time, his time and stuff. Right. So, that kind of, brought up some things because, there'd be some moments where you could have that feeling like, something is bound to happen, which that's our normal instinct that we feel that way because of our experiences. But, there's different ways of how you can manage, through it.
Gotcha. Says Richard, Larry, my mother had Alzheimer's. I spent 39 days with her in palliative care. So I understand and resonate with you, Larry. All right. So listen, we appreciate you guys for being here. I know we're cutting it. It's right at there, but we gave you some good nuggets. So if you missed it, just get in here, make sure you rewind, get back, get them 5 stages broken down and how to kind of get out of that space. That depression thing is real. I like, and that the 5 senses. I think a lot of this you could practice before loss, like to be in the right headspace. So when things happen, you can kind of, what to kind of lean and grab onto. So those are like daily practices that you can do. All right. So we again appreciate you guys for being here, rocking with us another edition of Brothers of Legacy. Kaneem, did you want to share something before we get out of here? I know you was taking it all in.
Now, I just want to use the words of Mr. A.D. Walker. It was a pleasure meeting you, Mr. Johnny. We will see you again, and hopefully it'll be sooner than later, brother.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, bring me back. I'm bring me back.
All right, we definitely will. Maybe we dig further into these stages and some other things. So if you're on either space, YouTube or Facebook, if you look at the top, I put the Linktree connection to my brother Johnny Gathers, so you can connect with him. YouTube, watch his YouTube channel. Definitely check out the video about loss because he digs deeper into it and shares some more things. You stay connected, subscribe, and get everything that he has going on, as well as get an opportunity if you need any professional services, connect to him and he can let you know how to make that happen. All right. Again, Johnny, we appreciate you being here, man. Thanks for sharing. You've helped a lot.
Yes.
So we look forward to seeing you again.
I'll have my couch out the next time because
make sure you got that Kleenex too. We know how you like
it. All right, guys. So you guys be safe.
All right, Joe. Hey, you gentlemen have a fabulous day, man. Y'all stay safe, and we'll holler at you later.
Yes, sir. So know that we love you. Jesus loves you better. Again, 988. If you or someone
988
mental health crisis, 988. All right, that's it. We out here.
All minds and hearts are clear.
Indeed. Peace out.
Wow.
Come on. Camera.
Yeah.
Move it slow.